What up, what up? Welcome on in to Inside Baylor Sports, the official daily podcast of Baylor Athletics. On today's show, we recap last night's quarterfinal win over Cincinnati in the Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship. We will also get you ready for tonight's semifinal matchup against Iowa State. All that and more coming up on the show. Don't forget, you can catch Inside Baylor Sports every weekday. You can also watch the video version for free over at BaylorPlus.com. And on the Baylor Athletics YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, rate, and review the pod. And follow Baylor Plus today on X, Instagram, and Facebook. It's the official content network of Baylor Athletics. Think Netflix for your Baylor Bears. Download the app on your mobile device and sign up for your free 7-day trial today at BaylorPlus.com. Coming up on Sunday, we have the Baylor Plus Selection Show special, airing live for free exclusively on BaylorPlus.com beginning at 4:45 Central Time. If you love Baylor basketball, this is a must-watch. All right, it's Friday, March 15th, 2024. Justin Huff alongside 2021 national champion Obimo KKO. A bit of a slugfest last night. Wasn't pretty early, but Baylor knocked the cobwebs off in the second half to win this one 68-56.
Yeah, it's winter go home time, and the slow start wasn't really nice to see, shall we say. But I'm glad that Baylor turned it up the next 30 minutes. Kayla Lohner played a great part, huge part, being ready, staying ready, give us a boost that we needed. I think that his effort was so valuable to helping us get out of our little lull that we were in early in the game, and it helped us propel us into that second half and dominate the way we should have. These tournament games, man, you never know. These dudes, it's winter go home for a lot of these teams. Cincinnati had played 3 games in 3 days. You know, they came with a lot of energy. You didn't think they were tired at all the way they were playing early in the game. And so I'm glad that we were able to withstand a little storm. And then we got another tough battle tonight against Iowa State, which everybody knows that's Hilton South. I was on the team that lost to Halliburton and them. We lost last year, so we haven't done great against them. But this is semifinals, you know. Hopefully, Coach Drew and the crew can get ready and lead us to the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, we'll have more on Iowa State a little bit later on in the show. Break down that matchup. Got some great notes and nuggets you're not going to hear anywhere else. We've done the research, been digging around all week for some things, and so we got some great stuff we'll bring to you. But yeah, you know, Baylor, they improved to 9-9 all time in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament. Since 2017, Baylor is now 2-6 in the Big 12 tournament. That lone win during that stretch was 2021 against K-State. So kind of getting off the schneid, so to speak. We've struggled some in KC, but me and Jerry Hill had a good talk the other day on the podcast that all those are behind us. And we're thinking good vibes moving forward. I know a big piece. We talked to Josh the other day. Coach Drew really telling his team, hey, we've never won the Big 12 tournament title. Let's go win it. I know he's used that message previously. I know that because I've been in the locker room. I've shot that message before, but definitely trying to turn this one up. And early on, as we look at this game and kind of break it down, you know, I knew there would be some rust. So for Baylor, they were the final team to play in the Big 12 tournament. They had to wait, and then wait some more, right? This game tipped off at 8:53 Central Time. The advantage, though, that Cincinnati had, they played 2 straight days, you know, and this was their 3rd game in 3 days. And you knew that early on they were going to come out with a punch and figured if Baylor could stay in it, they could take over in the second half, and that's really what happened. But definitely didn't see an 0-9 start coming for Baylor and don't want to see that again. So let's just get that out of the way now. But thankfully in the second half, there was a stretch where we made 8 straight field goals. So that just kind of shows some of that rust and knocking it off, and really didn't have much time on the court at all. You know, just some pregame. There's been games going on all week between the women, the men. And so a lot of challenges there. But they fought it off. And hopefully this is the final time we see a slow start for the Bears the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'll say there's 2 parts to the slow starts. I mean, all season I feel like we've had a lot of slow starts, and especially recently. So hopefully, like the first 10 minutes of the game, we can like lock in. You know, first 4 minutes, as Coach Drew likes to say, set the tone in the first 4 minutes. But I mean, the thing about these tournament games is like everybody likes to say they're just another game, but like it does take a little while to settle into these games. Like sometimes you see like those guys who go off early, but like just for everybody understands, like Cincinnati's playing for their lot. They were playing for their lives yesterday. You know, they know they're not going to be a tournament team. They knew they had to win those type of games to go to the tournament. So like they're playing with a lot of energy. That they have to come out like that. Not to like discredit them or like take away from what Baylor's energy did in the beginning, but like that's the type of the games we're playing now. Like when we go to the tournament, NCAA tournament to look ahead, we're going to be playing against a lower seeded team that knows they're not better than us, and so they have to come out with way more energy than us to match our talent. So I didn't feel like Baylor, when they settled in, they obviously looked like the better team, but like we need to settle into games a little bit earlier. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, but like these tournament games are a little different than what we've been playing the whole season because you don't really have the crowd behind your back. And to be honest, the crowd is probably going to be against us the rest of the year because we're going to be the higher seeds. And when you're the higher seeds, if you guys don't understand, like when you're at a neutral site for these games, like the crowd wants the lower seeds to win. Most likely, they love seeing upsets and stuff like that. So it's gonna be weird, but like I always have to say, get the crowd out of it or get our Baylor fans into the game a little bit earlier into the game, so we can ride that energy going on to the last 40 minutes of the game.
Believe me, I've seen it in the past. You know, we've talked about it. Obviously, O played and was a GA, and I was around the program for many years, handling the social media and the video. I can think about Georgia State and Yale. When we played those two games, I know some of our fans don't want to go back, and we're not going to live too much there, but I know I was getting booed, okay? The video guy, okay? I was getting booed by the fans because I was wearing Baylor, and I was part of the top seed. So you're exactly right
Yeah,
there.
I remember the 2021 season, and there's like no fans really like that much, but we're playing Hartford and Ohio State's losing to Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts, like I think they went to overtime. I'm 100% sure they went to overtime, and they took the game because like when our game starts, they take away like the feed from the other games and on the big screen, and the fans started booing our game because they want us to go back to break so they could watch the Ohio State game. Like, and they're all at our game. So that just tells you like how much these fans are like locked into March Madness and to like these other games. Like it's an insane behavior. I remember one more time we were at playing Syracuse and Salt Lake City my junior year, and I think we hit like 23s in that game combined, and every bucket it was like both teams had fans because everybody was just cheering. It wasn't like one side was hype or the other. Like every time a three was made, both teams it felt like was cheering. So like it's a weird feel in these tournament games for sure.
That's why we love the tournament. It's the single greatest sporting event in America, period. I mean, that's what it is. And on Sunday, you're going to be able to join us, right? As the brackets get, we will react, live reaction, watch the brackets. We'll have a camera on the team. We'll be talking to the head coaches for both Baylor men and Baylor women. We'll talk to some players. We'll have analysts on, former alums. I mean, it's going to be all kinds of good fun, really. And we're also going to have the Brittany Griner film between selection shows. So basically from 4:45 Central until about 8:15 Central Time, we'll be chatting with you on BaylorPlus.com. So that's going to be a lot of fun. O's going to be with us there. We got a lot of things to talk about, maybe some expansion of the NCAA tournament. Maybe we talk about that some. We'll see what's all in store. But back to this game against Cincinnati. You know, you think about that first half. So Baylor shoots just 26% from the field, 1 of 10 from the three-point line. At one point, they were 0 of 9 from the field, and 8 of those 9 attempts were three-pointers and 10 turnovers in that first half, and yet still just down by 2. That was a gift, and that's where I felt, you know, we were texting back and forth during the game. King's doing his thing at halftime. I'm sure he's feeling the same way, like Baylor's got this. And really the score, pretty much what we thought, you know, a 12-point win that Cincinnati would wear down at the end. And as you said, Caleb Lohner, some good minutes for him, 5 points for Caleb Lohner, really kind of kept us in it in that first half. 16 minutes, the most minutes he's played in the entire year of 2024 for any single game. So that's impressive to get him. And hey, he was good against UCSB last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament. You never know when you might need somebody.
Yeah, I mean, what Caleb did, like I said before, very valuable to our team. That just gives us that shows us the depth that we have. Like even a guy like that, he just stays ready. I've talked about how Miro Little has been ready in the absence of Langston, it's just great to see that these guys are like staying ready and being prepared for their moments when they're called on. Like Coach Drew's not going to be feel any type of way or nervous to be ready to call on these guys' numbers. If so happens somebody gets in foul trouble or we need just an extra kick of energy, it's going to be great to see that. I mean, especially the way Baylor's played all season. I feel like we've been winning ugly, like really ugly. I mean, you talked about how your blood pressure has gone up this year just watching these type of games. So, I mean, that's the story of Baylor's life this season. And if we keep winning ugly, as long as we keep winning, I mean, that just shows how tough this team is. Doesn't matter if we're down 20. It feels like we always could fight back. And like you said, we were struggling to score the ball, but our defense kept us in that game. And just keep chipping away. Like we kept trying to get kills, which like Fran kept talking about Baylor kills, how many stops we were getting in a row. And that just shows you the testament of the team that when the shots aren't falling, you got to keep playing defense on the other end to keep yourself in the game. Maybe get some cheap buckets by getting steals, etc. Just playing hard, like Caleb kind of did, and showed us that during the game.
Yeah, in that first half, too, Jalen Bridges, Jacoby Walter, and Ray J. Dennis, they combined to shoot 0 of 14 in that first half. And I thought each of those guys in the second half particularly stepped it up. You look at each of those guys, they 12 field goals made in the second half. So that was important for those guys. 13 for Ray J, leading all scorers on the Baylor side, 12 points for Jalen Bridges. 11 points for Jacoby Walter, 12 points for Yves Missi, who continues to get better and better. At the start of the year, I wanted to mention this. So at the start of the year, Fran says Yves is like Clint Capella, which Clint, a lot of dunks around the rim, shot blocker, was with the Houston Rockets. A lot of our fans know that. And now he's kind of been a journeyman along the league. Made a lot of money, by the way, but has been around the league. And now Fran is saying he's like Pascal Siakam, who was a former All-Star, traded, of course, from the Raptors to the Pacers. But he continues to just move up. You see how much he's matured. Who knows where this guy could get? And I really got to say to all the fans, obviously Baylor fans, they know this, but anybody coming across this podcast nationally, Jacoby Walter and Yves Missi, two of the top freshmen, two of the top players that will play in March Madness. And thankfully, they play for the green and gold.
I think it's funny that he said Siakam because, Siakam's from the same country. But, I mean, me personally, I see Clint Capella a little bit more. Siakam's more face-up. But Siakam in college, I could see that. Siakam was a dog. And, I mean, Yves doesn't get as many touches as Siakam did at New Mexico State. But Yves has been blossoming in front of our eyes. Should be a lottery pick, depending on how the NBA goes. But the fact that he's been playing basketball for so few of years, it's insane. He's really grown just even in these 30 games. And I mean, there's a reason why he's not going to come back to Baylor next year. Most likely, we got some business to finish, but there's a reason why, because he just keeps growing and growing. Keeps the potential is literally untapped. So hopefully he keeps doing what he's doing. Like, these freshmen are not playing like freshmen; they're basically playing like sophomores now. They played so many games, played so many minutes, played so many big minutes. I feel like these guys are just so used to the moment at this point, playing through the grueling Big 12. I know that they're going to be ready for these next few games. They're ready to play Iowa State tonight. That's another tough test. And then when we get to the tournament, I'm not worried about these guys making freshman mistakes anymore.
Give credit to Cincinnati. Wes Miller, I thought Dan Skillings had a great first game against Baylor. I thought we did a better job on him in this game. He had 15 points. That was a game high. But for Cincinnati, 20-14 on the season, most likely heading to the NIT. But I think they more than held their own this year, lost a lot of games, close games. I think they were 5-8 in games decided by 10 or less points. And so this is a team I think did a great job this year, and looking forward to what Cincinnati has to offer for the Big 12. We got better when Cincinnati got here. And you think about Texas and Oklahoma leaving, we're going to get better again. Arizona, they're a 1 seed most likely, so that's an upgrade. Colorado, Utah, in and around that bubble. Arizona State has been on the bubble like Wake Forest more than any team in the last decade. They're not there this year, but they'll be living on the bubble pretty much year in, year out. So the Big 12 will get better as we continue to move forward. Hey, looking at this game, so for one, as we kind of transition over to the Iowa State game, Baylor got back to the hotel last night about 11:45. And, you've been there, these late night games First off, for the listeners at home, Scott Drew and this staff, they're owls, okay? Midnight owls. They like to burn that midnight oil, okay? They would much rather play at 8:30 or 9 than 11 a.m. This is a group that will wake up. Some of us, I know when I was on the trips, I might be waking up at 9 or 10, going to sleep at 2 or 3. That's this type of group, okay? There's some teams that are maybe flipped, but they like the late games. And we got another one tonight at 8:30. So when they get back to the hotel, what's that usually look like? Oh, what's the preparation look like those next 24 hours getting ready for a team like Iowa State?
Um, I mean, I know it's late, so maybe not this time because like it's almost midnight. But for the most part, they will like watch a little bit of film because the GAs do a good job. Half the GAs would probably would have done Iowa State. The other half probably did Kansas State. So whoever did got Kansas State kind of wasted their time. Not necessarily, but like it kind of sucks. They don't get to use that. So they'll probably watch a little bit of film at night, get some like fluids and some food after the game, and then get to like the film's not too long, probably like 20 minutes max. Get upstairs, kick their feet up, get ready. Yeah, like you said, Coach Drew is a night owl. Hey, he's a grinder too. So they'll probably wake up a little bit later. Like they'll have a later wake up than normal because Coach Drew likes to be up. He'll probably be watching all the film and all that stuff. And then when they wake up, probably do shoot around. Coach Drew likes to have the guys like shoot around a little bit before the games, and then they'll probably get back, watch the film. Probably like the film, like Coach Drew will be locked in the film because he'd be asking the players about the film and making sure they know each player, like literally each player who's most likely going to play in the game. So the film is very essential for that. But yeah, it's not nothing too crazy. He doesn't like to like overwhelm the guys, but he wants these guys prepared for and understanding that this is a business trip. This is not a free vacation to Kansas City. This is we want to go win everything we do. So.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the Iowa State Cyclones, a team that we know really, really well. We've seen this team a lot over the years. TJ Otzlenberger did a great job this year. You could have made a strong case for Coach of the Year for him. It ultimately went to Kelvin Sampson in Houston, who, if they're able to hold on this weekend, arguably the number one overall seed. That's what Joe Lunardi said at halftime there of last night's game. But we look at this game, Baylor, Iowa State. The Bears are 1-5 against the Cyclones all time in the Big 12 tournament. You have to go all the way back to 2001, the last time we beat Iowa State in the Big 12 tournament. And that was played at the Kemper Arena, which is no longer that name. Of course not, right? But you think about that, it was a long time ago. Jamal Tinsley was on the team, the point guard, of course, a long career with the Pacers, and Terry Black was dunking, okay? All those, one of the best dunkers of all time for Baylor. But you have to go that far back. We did play them in 2023. We played them in 2019. We've seen them before. And one of the biggest challenges, is where this game's played. You love the T-Mobile Center. You love the fans. But as Fran Fraschilla said, I-35 is going to be a busy place today because there'll be a lot of red, and it is called Hilton South for a reason. And I'll just say this much. I know some of the hotels we stayed at over the years, it felt like a festival, okay? Just Cyclones everywhere, and this will be a road game, period.
It's another road game for sure. I mean, like we said before, we even talked about Michigan State. That was being a road game. Madison Square Garden, that's a road game. And I'm going to be honest, those two might not even compare to Hilton South, as I like to call it, because especially now that Kansas State and Kansas are both knocked out, there's going to be a lot more seats for those Iowa State fans. And it's on a Friday, and it's the last game of the Big 12. Like, it's insane. Like, I was at the Mountain West tournament, and there were so many San Diego State and Utah State fans last night. So I can even imagine. I mean, I've played against Iowa State. They had a lot of fans when we played them at 11:30 a.m. So for it to be at 8 p.m., it's going to be literally a road game. It's going to feel – and it's the only team that's like in the vicinity because the other three teams are Texas teams. So it's going to be all red and yellow, all Iowa State fans. And they're going to feed off the energy. Like, it's a defensive team. So, like, when they get stopped, they get a charge. You're going to think it's like they dunked the ball or something because that's what they're going to feed off of. So, Baylor's got to control the ball, handle the turnovers, play their game. We beat them once, even though that was another hectic game. We got to be able to control our emotions this game. Hopefully not get another technical foul from Coach Drew. And play our game. I think we can handle the crowd and win this game.
Okay, yeah, we didn't bury the lead. You're right about that. We don't
Yeah,
want Coach Drew watching this game from the locker room. Okay, staying on the
yeah.
sidelines, Coach, but he'll do a great job.
Also, this is a little implication. I mean, I'm not a bracketologist or anything. We've talked about it from side to side, but this could be another game to get us the 2 seed, um, especially with Iowa State being potential 2 seed. Us teetering on a 2-3 line. Creighton just lost. Um, Duke just lost. That could open some spots for us getting that last 2 seed if we beat Iowa State head to head. So that's another implication for the fans to be looking out for tonight.
Yeah, I love John Shambi, but I nearly took my remote and threw it at the TV when he said that Baylor was a 3 or 4 seed. Come on, John. We're not a 4 seed. We don't need anybody thinking Baylor's a 4 seed.
Yeah, I
They're at
think
worst a
2 seed.
3 seed and could move up to a 2 seed. Right now, Joe Lenardi has Iowa State as the 2 seed. You want to be the 2 seed? You better go beat the Iowa State Cyclone. So it's in front of us, and it's a great opportunity there. And so we got that opportunity, and let's take full advantage of it. When we look at Iowa State, they're a team that turns opponents over often. They turned over K-State on 35% of its possessions last night, 20 turnovers, a lot of points off turnovers. Iowa State, they're turning teams over right now at nearly 18 turnovers per game. Taman Lipsey, he's a baller, basically a younger version of a Jamal Shed, does a little bit of everything. And, yeah, they're not easy. They got a lot of tough guys. They play defense. They got some similarities to Houston. This could be kind of a rock'em sock'em. This could be a 50-point in the 50s. And quite honestly, we're fine with that. We can play in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I know Iowa State will probably want to play this in the 50s or 60s, but it promises to be a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, we had that one game in Waco. I mean, we all know what happened in that game, and that just shows you a game of runs, But we know how tough Iowa State is. We know how tough Baylor is. It's going to be another grueling Big 12 game. That's what all these games are at this point, It's like, can we just finally stop playing Big 12 teams? But well, at the end of the day, these guys are going to have to show – going to defend with their chest. They're going to have to rebound and take care of the ball. I saw what Iowa State did to BYU literally down the stretch, and we know how good BYU is with moving the ball. They take care of the ball, but I saw them turn the ball over for like 4 of the last 5 possessions of the game, and they were down by 3, and I don't think Iowa State scored even in those 5 possessions. So at the end of the day, we got to take care of the ball. We know we can score against them. We just got to, when we get a shot up, we just have to get the shot up first, instead of turning the ball over. Like we said, they're not really a great offensive team, but like their defense gets them going. So take care of the ball. At the end of the day, take care of the ball, and we'll be fine,
This game tonight, 8:30 on ESPN or ESPN2. We'll see where it lands. You can also watch it on ESPN Plus, of course. A lot of these games simulcast now. New age, right? You're going to see it streaming, or you want to watch it old style on TV and whatnot. But yeah, this can be fun. Hey, if this game is anywhere close to the game that was played on February 3rd, which was just a dramatic game. It was the loudest game I've ever been at in person. Okay. And this is someone who had season tickets at Michigan football. Okay. In the big house, seeing Ohio State play in all those years. I mean, this game on February 3rd was tremendous. If it's anywhere close to that, this is going to be an instant classic. And oh, by the way, that lone time we beat Iowa State back in 2001, March 9th, mind you, there was just one active player on our team that was alive back then. That's Everyday John. So our team doesn't know about that. Coach Drew's not going to be talking about that, of course, but we need to get to the title game, and we haven't been to the title game since 2014. We've been to the title game 3 times in the Big 12 tournament, 2009, 2012, and 2014. So it's been 10 years, and so that is a huge milestone. If Baylor can get into that, it will take a elite effort. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It will take an A game to beat Iowa State basically on the road at Hilton South. It will take an elite effort, and one that I hope maybe we'll see Langston Love. Maybe we won't see him. I was thinking about this during the game. Oh, don't want to rush him back by any means, and he's a tough customer. We need him healthy for the NCAA tournament. Well, it's kind of thinking about Langston Love. He's like, without him, you kind of got liability insurance on your car, okay? When you got Langston Love healthy, you got full coverage, okay? And so we need Langston Love out there because he's like a security blanket, some insurance off the bench. You just know what you're going to get from him. And I know Fran Fraschilla had said that we have 6 players in double figures that average double figures on our team. One of those guys is Langston Love. So he's consistent. Hope we get him back. You'd be really helpful in this game. But regardless, I know the Bears will come to play.
Yeah, he's super tough, like just physical and imposing presence. Even at 6'5", he's just very imposing, and like they have imposing guys too, don't get me wrong. But like that's one of our imposing figures on our team, and it would be great to see him in a battle like this. But at the end of the day, like whatever, I want to be healthy for the March Madness. So I know we have the depth in the guys to get it done. Hopefully Langston can play. And if he's not, I know he's gonna be ready for whatever his time is actually gonna be called. I love our guys 1 through 15, so got faith in all of them.
A question, without question there. And that's a deal too. Caleb Lohner, you'd love to see another game like that from him against a physical team like Iowa State. So looking at Iowa State, they're 25-7 on the season, 13-5 in conference play. They're number 2 seed in the Big 12 for a reason. They don't give that out just to give it out. You earn that in every second of it. And for Iowa State, they're a team that's been playing red hot. Okay. True to their name. They're 9-2 in their last 11 games. They've beat 6 ranked teams during that stretch. I mean, this is a legit team. And let's just say this much, not that this is going to happen, but if they were playing games at Hilton, I've heard some announcers say this and some analysts, if they were playing games at Hilton, this is a team that I think a lot of people would take to make it to the Final Four. If you're playing home games, almost like on the women's side, you have to play at campus sites, that this is a team they're so good at home and they're a different team at road, but yet they're basically going to be at home for this one. And that's why we're saying that Baylor's going to need to play an A game to win this one.
Yeah, not even to like look forward for them too. They're probably going to play their first 2 games in Omaha. So like like looking ahead, like they're going to be playing in the Midwest for a long time. If they even happen to get in the Midwest region and play in Detroit, like these games are very close to home. Like Iowa State fans travel, like they're allowed. They definitely love their college basketball in Iowa. There's a reason why it's always been so hard to play there when they had the Jordan Yangs and Monte Morris. You always felt like these guys were always felt like horrible to go play against these guys on the road. So there's a reason why that it's always been a problem to play at Hilton and Hilton South.
Yeah, you got guys like Naz, Mitru Long, Nick Wheeler-Babb. I mean, we're talking some Euro League, and shout out to a couple of our guys over there, Freddie Gillespie, Jonathan Motley.
That one team was crazy with we lost in 2019. Nick Weiler-Bag, Tyrese Halliburton, Taylor Horton Tucker, Mario Shayok, I think who's also in the Euro League too.
Matt Thomas also over there.
Yeah, they were elite in that 2019 team, and of course they get knocked out the tournament early because they didn't have any chemistry. But that team, probably the most talented Iowa State team they had since like that Naz, Monte Morris, Bryce Jones, rest in peace to him, and what's his name? He's in the league. Georges Niang. Like those teams were all really good. But to go back on the Euro League, like Freddie and Motley and all them playing in the Euro League. Like the league is just like these guys. There's so much talent in the Big 12 that like these guys, if they don't make it to the NBA, like they're playing in the Euro League, the top leagues. Like we have Freddie and Motley and Manu and all those guys playing in Europe right now. Like the league is solid. Like just because they can't make an NBA, they're going to be solid pro players for sure.
Yeah, that's legit professional basketball. I got down a beaten path where I was looking at Eurobasket because it used to be an NBA 2K, and I used to love that. And then I guess they lost a license or didn't get the rights with those guys. But there's a lot of legit guys over there, and a lot of European guys that really wanted to play in front of their home family and whatnot. And they're definitely NBA guys that just wanted to go back home, like the Rudy Fernandez, those kind of guys. But as we finish out here, obviously Iowa State tonight, 8:30. Really looking forward to it. I said a couple days ago, we were talking to Jerry Hill, and I gave you these numbers, and we looked at a few other things here. But for Baylor to have success in the tournaments, and a key that they could have is making threes. And I threw out, 10 or more threes. They're averaging 8.7 on the season, a little under that tonight, or last night, should say. 12 or less turnovers. We had 10 in the first half, so I wasn't doing very good on that number. But those are some pieces. I know those are going to be tough to get in the same game, but let's just go turnovers, right? if we stay under 12 turnovers, what does that do for the team, and how much will that help if we can do that tonight against Iowa State? Because you can make a case that's the biggest key to a win here against Iowa State, is not turning the ball over, since that's basically their number one strength, is turning you over.
Yeah. And we're such a good shooting team. Like, we just need to get a shot up, you know? Like, Eve's such a good rebounder, you know, offensively, such a freak athlete. We just need to get a shot up. That's really sometimes what it comes down to. I remember when West Virginia, like, they were horrible on offense, but whenever they had Javon Carter and like Darius Miles, like, they would just shoot the ball. Like, they have guys who are gonna go get the rebound. Like, sometimes it's just about getting the rebound, winning your matchups in the rebounding battles. And the reason why Baylor has been so good at rebounding for such a long time is, like, sometimes these turnovers don't mean anything. You just get a shot up and go get the ball, go get it out, get those dagger threes. So hopefully we take care of the ball, get some dagger threes, play great defense, keep them under 60 points, and keep it rolling. Go into the Big 12 championship against another Texas team.
Yeah, use the advantage as a shooter. You know where the ball is going because you shot it. You can see it and feel it. And so you go get that basketball, and we've been so good offensive rebounding percentage. You're exactly right. Get the ball on the rim and go after it. We've had guys in the past, and we got guys in this team that can do it. So turnovers tonight, that will be a key to a win against the Iowa State Cyclones. Looking forward to the action and looking forward to seeing everyone on Sunday for the Baylor Plus Selection Show special. Going to be a lot of fun. That'll do it for today's edition of Inside Baylor Sports, a Sport and Story production. Thanks for listening. For Obimo KK, I'm Justin Hoff. Have a great Friday, and Sick 'em Bears.